Episode 6. We're back at the Mummers Museum. The noisemaker over here, Billy Oakham. Stop tapping the table. Anyway, fun one tonight. Chris Farr is with us. Great musical mind in and outside of the Mummers, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun sitting down and talking with him. Very excited for that and to hear his perspective on everything from arranging and production and gigs that he's played, musicals, halftime shows, you name it. Chris has been on the saxophone or behind the computer arranging a lot of the things that you've heard on all the mum tapes that we watch over and over and over again. Some that you may not even know that we'll get into tonight. But it's going to be a really fun conversation. Hold, because before we get into that, Haley's got some important things to go over, so take it away, Hale.
Yeah, so there's a lot of fun events upcoming here at the Mum Museum. Actually, in November, we mentioned it last episode, we have the Mummers for Veterans Drive. That is on the 16th from 1 to 3. Then on 12/11, we have the Memorial Tree Lighting Ceremony. They did it last year as well. It should be really nice. I think it's a Thursday night, Brian was saying. And then a couple days later, on the 13th, we have Lunch with Santa from 12 to 3. And the day after that is Hat Day. So that is our membership drive here at the Mummers Museum, and they will be here from 12 to 5. Another fun thing that's upcoming in January, they have the 52 Weeks of First, which is by the Philadelphia Historic District, and the Mummers Museum is celebrating being the first folk parade, which started in 1901. So celebrating on Saturday, January 10th, the city will be recognizing the Mummers Museum as that first. So be sure to check it out. It's supposed to be a really interactive thing the whole year, but for the Mummers Museum to kick it off in their tradition month, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very impressive, actually.
Yeah, Brian's really excited about it.
I would be. I mean, to be honored like that is quite a deal.
Big deal.
Yeah, very much so. Before Haley continues too, it's worth noting that tonight's episode, as always, brought to you by Ojung's and Remedy Sales and Marketing.
Going on to our next sponsor, Jewelry by Joseph, we can talk about our poll segment.
Yes.
So our last poll was, what type of theme would you rather do? Traditional / staple theme or something unique? And the poll was 75% traditional and 25% unique. How'd you guys vote?
Traditional.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I like traditional themes. I don't have a problem with them. But I get really excited when I hear that we're doing something a little different. Yeah. I love that.
I'm on the fence. I would say I'd rather do something unique as well.
Now, I mean, unique. I don't want to do something that
not off the wall, not unattainable.
Yeah,
but maybe not something you've seen every year.
I want to put it this way: no matter what the theme is, when I hear what it is, I want to go, oh yeah, I can't wait to.
A lot of it for me too is who's doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think coming from maybe a string band mentality, it might be there's so much opportunity within a unique or different theme.
Yeah. I a couple times, I don't think it's ever been a theme that I've been in, but I know that when the string band themes have come out, growing up, I've thought, I'm a little surprised by that. It's more of a brigade theme, I would think. And then vice versa. Sometimes I hear what a brigade's doing and I'm like, I feel like that's more of a string band.
String bands are becoming brigades though. Them gigantic props.
It's going, I don't want to say backwards because that's not the right word.
Sideways.
It's been controlled a little bit since COVID.
Yeah.
Because they introduced how many trucks you're allowed to have or whatever, 25 foot.
And I see no difference with South Philly.
Well, I don't think you really see a difference with any of the bands, which just goes to show you that, props add to the show, but it isn't everything. So I don't think that, when we first started having wheels and string bands, not to go off the rails, but it was 2004. It was the first parade we were allowed to have them for. The prop height was higher then. It was 16 feet. So you were allowed to have 16 feet, I think 24 feet wide maximum. And you could put things together to make it wider, but any single piece. So that's sizable. And that's the old way coming from the
What's it now? Do you get one truck?
I actually don't remember. I know it's a 25 foot truck. I can't remember if it's one or two.
I don't know.
I think it's
South
one.
Philly does it.
I think it's a good. I don't know what you think, but I think it's good because it forces you to be more creative with your solutions.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just build a house. Right. You used to be able to. Now you can't. And I'm just using that as an example. Now you have to think, how can we build the house where it still fits the show, but it fits within how we have to house it or store it.
It's funny watching the old shows and you would see the wall
flip.
It just go up. Little pieces going up like that.
Yeah, but you know what? Even in some cases today, it's still it still does the trick.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to go crazy with everything. I think the judges, because of the nature of where they come from, which a lot of times is stage shows or drum and bugle corps, like marching band type stuff.
Yeah.
I think they're impressed with pretty much any prop they see, because those bands don't really get. I mean, nowadays they're starting to get into props a little bit, but not
Yeah.
like we do.
Some of the smaller clubs are getting bigger. Like
Mhm.
Uptown was pretty big last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think what I'm getting at is I don't think you, in my personal opinion, I don't think you have to build so literal for it to be effective.
Yeah.
I almost think they'd rather see you do it in a more creative way where they didn't expect it versus just put a house out.
You come
there.
storming in with a huge pirate ship.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
you know what I mean. Can you make the pirate ship flip and it turned into a pirate ship from something? Yeah, that
That's
to
the
me
stuff
is
I
more.
like.
Yeah, me too. You know,
Moving forward though, our episode poll has to do with our guests today.
yes.
So today's poll is, what is your favorite spooky theme by our guest, Chris Farr, who is a music arranger? And those three options that we have here to vote on are South Philly's Castlevania, which is 2025, South Philly's West in Peace, 2018, and Furco's Field of Screams from 2016.
There you go. And with this being posted on Halloween, you know, get into
Happy Halloween.
into your spooky season and ties into our guest. Very good job, huh?
Wow.
Segment brought to you by Jewelry by Joseph, as always. So I don't want to take up too much time because I want to get Chris in here. But yeah, the one other thing that I wanted to hit before.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
This one's for you because you ask me
I know.
every week.
Yeah, this is for you.
This is just for you.
The one thing I wanted to get into is everybody probably knows at this point we're on YouTube now. So you could do the polls on Spotify always, but we're going to have the polls be interactive on our YouTube channel as well. And if you don't know how to do that, Hallie's going to tell you.
Yeah. So if you are if you're listening on Spotify, Billy.
Yeah.
And you're on your phone, if you go onto any episode and you literally just scroll to the bottom, you'll find the poll.
Yep.
YouTube is just as simple. So if you go on our main page and you go all the way to the right to posts, and you click that tab, all of our polls show right here. So they'll match and correspond to what you're seeing on Spotify. And you may find out that on our post tab, you may find other information that we make.
Yeah. Nowadays, for anybody that doesn't know, YouTube channels now, you can put posts just like you can post on Facebook and everything like that. So on the Word on the Street, YouTube channel, we're going to have some interesting posts on there, maybe some information about upcoming events at the Mummers Museum or just general questions, you know, BS topics that you might be able to comment on. Plus, again, the polls for every episode. So just to reiterate what Hallie said, you go to our YouTube channel, you tab over, there's videos, playlists, you'll see posts, you click on that, and you'll be able to interact with any poll or posts that we have up there. So make sure you're doing that. And don't forget, if you haven't already, like and subscribe to the new YouTube channel you can go back and watch all the episodes are up there, all the way up to the most current one that you're watching right now.
And I think on YouTube, if you are subscribed, you'll start to see our posts populate up on your homepage.
Yeah, you should. If you're somebody that watches a lot of stuff on YouTube and you go on YouTube, whether you're on the browser, on your computer, or on the phone app, when you're scrolling, when you go right onto the home screen of YouTube, if you follow us, you should start to see some of our content that pops up if we post something and you follow us. So make sure you do that because you don't want to miss anything, especially as we're getting into, you know, real hardcore mom time, you know, at this point moving into November, right? So
It's crazy. We're there already.
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking about that today. I can't believe we're already at Halloween.
I mean, at the time of posting today, it's 2 months till New Year's.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Scary, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. So somebody who's
scary, who's spooky?
Well, somebody who's definitely in the thick of mom world right now is Chris, who we have down tonight, who's doing a lot of the arrangements this year. He's got South Philly and Fralinger this year in 2026 coming up, and he's been working with those bands the last number of years, I think 10 years or so, give or take, working on the music, doing the arranging for all the incredible shows that you see those two bands do. That's who he's currently working with. In the past, he's had experience writing for Quaker City, for Fralinger, for Polish American, for Furco, for South Philly, for Uptown, and was there one other one I think you mentioned?
Did you say Furco?
Yeah, I said Furco.
You said
and Polish American, yeah.
Pennsport.
Oh, Pennsport, yeah. So a crazy amount of bands, lots of success.
He's on his what?
Numerous first prizes.
47th, 48th show.
Yeah, I think he said this will be his 48th. I believe he said. So, I mean, years of experience. Plus, he was a suit wearer back in the day.
Yeah, in the 80s.
In the 80s, yeah, he erred on the side of arranging and the musical behind the scenes, and I think that's worked out well for him. I would say.
Yeah.
But without further ado, we want to bring him in here because it's going to be a great conversation. So, episode 6, Chris Farr. The first thing that I wanted to start off with you was the first thing that you wrote for the Mummers. So that was, you just said.
Yeah, it was Viking 2007, Quaker City Vikings. At the time, Franny Rothwein was writing for them, and he had some family stuff going on, and it came late in the year. It was like October, I think. Might have September, October, and they hired me like then. So they had part of it written and I finished it, but it was not a cram job, but tried to do the best we could in that late hour.
Yeah. I actually didn't know. I knew you wrote that theme, but I didn't actually realize that you didn't write it from the start.
From my remembrance, Franny had about a minute, and we might have talked about changing little bits here and there, but I'm pretty sure he had the first minute. And then, but from then on was the next 3 minutes, and I worked with, at the time, Jimmy Rivel was doing the show.
Yeah.
And we worked together from there. Yeah.
So what was it? I mean, was that the first theme that you ever wrote for Mummers?
Yeah. You know what's funny is that about, 10 years before that, Steve Moyer from when he was in Kensington, he kept asking me to write. And I kept saying, I don't know, man. I don't know if I was doing. I was traveling a lot, and doing a lot of stuff. And then I finally wrote for Quaker, and he's like, I can't believe now you're writing.
So, was there a challenge at all? Because I know obviously you have a lot of skills in arranging, but was it an added challenge to come in when there was already a show figured out, a minute of music written, and it's like, here you go, finish it?
Absolutely, absolutely. The biggest challenge though was that theme. That theme is very difficult musically. Yeah. There's not a lot of, I would say, like if you listen to, if you go into iTunes or I'll say, play me Viking music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's not going to be a ton of stuff coming up. So that was the toughest part about it. But Franny's a good writer, it was a good band. So, I knew we were going to do okay, and also knew we had stiff competition with Fralinger. But that's what we do. You know what I mean? I've listened to enough music to know, like, all right, here's what we can do.
Now, a specific question about that theme. You might not remember. I'm not sure. I definitely do. Do you have any recollection or any reason behind why the opening of that theme was cut off? There was a musical, like, almost fanfare to the beginning of that theme, and it got sliced off where it just started with the drums. Do you remember?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you remember what part of did you play that? You heard it?
It was
in there.
So there's actually 2 versions of the recording.
So remind me, how did it start? I don't even remember.
It was almost like
I want to look it up. So
you know, like the Viking horns, like
like that.
Yeah, it was almost like that's almost the sound it was. And it was like a big thick chord, and then it went into the drums that it did start with.
Wow.
After that,
and then what did we wind up doing? Just drums?
Just the drums. Yeah. I always wonder why that was cut out, because I really liked the way it was orchestrated. I didn't know if it was like a time thing, maybe.
Yeah, I'm trying to even remember. If you see Franny, ask him. I don't even know when we talked about handing the music, whether that was even in the version.
Oh, okay.
Because it might have been before. If you were starting music in August or whatever, I might never have heard it.
Oh, that's true. You know what? I actually have. I'll play it for you. I have a recording of it.
Wow, that's interesting.
I'll let you hear it, because I always wondered. I'm like, me and my dad, we had a recording from 2007 of somehow, I don't know how we got it, but it was Furco, Quaker, Fralinger, Avalon. All the recordings. And that recording of of Quaker had that opening on it, but I don't know when it was from. It could have been from late August, early September. You know what I mean?
You have to see how much music is being played right after the intro. If it's just a minute-ish, then I probably wasn't even there yet.
That's interesting.
But that one was one, Fralinger was really good through all those years. But that one, it might have been the most competitive in terms of score and finish, because I think Quaker did well in a lot of categories. I remember there was a suit thing that they got dumped in, right?
Yep. You are exactly correct.
You were Quaker?
I was not that year. No, not yet. But I do remember score-wise that I think costume was the reason they didn't win. That was like the only reason that they didn't win.
And that was a whole nother thing. They had the costume job got handed over to Jimmy Muller Sr. I don't know if you remember that. It was originally there was a mail-in thing. There was some issues there.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So anyway, so here I am, new arranger. Big Moles, who had done it before,
Sure, yeah.
stepped in, and they went to Jimmy May last minute, and it was. But you know, when a talented band like you got, like the Stars or any of these organizations that have a lot of talent, you're gonna be good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just got to keep the faith and keep everybody cool.
Stay the course.
Stay the course. We'll be okay. You know what I mean? But
it definitely sounds like it was one of those themes that it just, you can tell it was a good band because it just worked out. You would have never knew behind the scenes there was a lot of shuffling around.
Sure.
Worked out well.
Sure, yeah.
But
And that's not a big string band theme either. Vikings?
It's been done, but I've written it twice.
Really?
It was Mike, you might have to look this up. It might have been Woodland.
okay.
Do you know in your mental Rolodex?
Would it have been after Quaker, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I know. I'm trying
Either
to think.
Woodland or PA. Somebody, a band,
I know Uptown did Vikings, but I don't think
because I wrote for them too, but I don't remember.
Oh, you did write for Uptown?
Yeah.
Okay, so it probably was that one then because they did it in like 2014, like around that.
That would have been it.
Yeah.
There was a couple years where I wrote for 5. 4 or
see,
5.
I didn't even know that. So the bands that you've wrote for in total were, give me the rundown. It was Quaker?
I'm going to try and get close.
Yeah.
Quaker, Polish American, Hegeman. What's the band that doesn't have a club? Pensport.
Okay.
What did I say? Fralinger, South Philly, Uptown,
And Furco, right?
Furco. Is
Right.
that all of them?
I think so. Uptown and we said Polish American.
Polish American.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a couple in there I didn't even know you did. So
Yeah.
Uptown I didn't know you did, which Haley found is what year was the Vikings?
2014.
2014.
And Denny and I worked together with Uptown.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was kind of connect. I had already known John Pignotti at the time, and
Oh, okay.
and it was cool. And I don't even know who was writing for them before, but I did. They had like some kind of musical based theme. It was like music. They were musical instruments, and
Oh, you wrote that.
yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah.
Okay.
And then I can't even remember after that.
Have you ever done multiple bands on the same year?
That was what I'm saying. Yeah, there was years I did 4 or 5 in the same year.
Wow.
I just looked up a stat earlier in preparation for this where it was 2018, 19, 22, and 23 that you were first and second prize in the same
Oh,
year.
so it was probably South Philly and Quaker or Fralinger, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is extremely impressive.
Well,
You
I
haven't
mean,
done that.
listen, thank you, but like I don't write for Quaker anymore, but they're still competitive.
Sure.
The manpower, you know what I mean, is they're talented. They're gonna sound good before me and after me. I don't take too much credit for. I mean, yes and no, but they're gonna sound good. They have a legacy of sounding good. Like Fralinger.
Yeah.
You know.
What's the challenge with that? Because you came into a lot of bands that were already
Yeah.
successful. Like the success was built with other
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
really legendary writers like Franny and,
Yeah.
and like Lesso, who was writing for Furco
Yeah.
at the time. And two of the winningest bands, Quaker
Yeah.
and Furco, you took over the writing for. So
Yeah.
obviously you're going to bring your style to things, but was there a challenge that you were like, this band's already very established?
Well, not really, because I think I had an advantage because I did it as
Sure.
a kid. So there's been a lot of great musicians who have written for string bands who are like, how do I really use the bass sax? Like a lot of writers didn't even know what a bass saxophone is. Seriously, people don't see bass saxophones. Here we just take it for granted. We have them. No, I was confident enough. Also because I had followed it for years and I heard who was good and who was, and I also was kind of eager to say, oh, let me put my twinge, my twist on this stuff. And I had been away from it for so long. Like, I mean, I only took suits 85 and 86 in Fralinger, and then I didn't write till 07. So I was kind of away from it for 21 years. I would go up and help. My family was involved in Fralinger. for many years. Like my dad was the president of Fralinger, was like really, and I would go up and marshal every once in a year. But there was a good 15 years for sure that I didn't even sniff Broad Street. I was still, nursing over a hangover or a gig from the night before. But no, that's a great question. The only pressure I think you feel is like you still want the band to do well according to the judges. And sometimes judges, it's their point of view. It's their, it's their opinion. So maybe a little nervous. Like I don't want all of a sudden, Fralinger's got all these wins and, oh yeah, the year Chris wrote when they got 10th. You know what I mean? Yeah. So.
We're all like dorks. We watch the tapes at home and, we'll put it on in the background. So, and you might want to comment on further on this, but Haley is also a musician.
Great.
And
what do you play?
The bass.
Cool. That's cool.
Yeah. And she will pick out your arrangements as something that she actually likes.
Really?
Over the other ones, yeah.
Without knowing
who wrote it.
Oh, thanks.
Because she really likes.
Well, you didn't know she's on my payroll.
She really likes South Philly's arrangements a lot and the way it
why?
matches their show.
I have to ask you why.
I feel like they are, what's the word? Almost like comprehensive, if that makes sense. Like they're not very choppy and very thematic. I feel like you can tell thematically by just listening.
Well, what's cool about that is that I have such a flawless working relationship with Jimmy Brown and the committee. I mean, those guys are it's a really good committee. You know what I mean? And they don't really challenge me on much. Jimmy literally says, what do you think about this? And then they feed me music and I was like, yeah, that sounds good. And also everything to like the bar with South Philly, Mike will tell you, like to the bar of music is tied into show. But with that kind of stuff, transitional material from one tune to another, I still try to give you a hint of a song, of a melody that is still going to keep you involved, if that makes sense, or intrigued.
And to put like a musician translation on, she likes your transitions.
Oh, thanks.
And she likes your music to visual.
Oh, cool.
That's
thanks. Well, a lot of that goes to Jimmy Brown. Jimmy really, and it helps that Jimmy is, he won't tell you. He's just a flat out talented guy. You know what I mean? He plays whatever the most difficult part in the band if he has. Now this year he's not even taking a suit because the band has become a lot deeper. But he's really talented. He really, like you said, when he hears the music, he sees the show. And so that's cool.
In the reverse, what do you need to start?
I ask general questions like, do you see this show starting big and broad and slow and regal? I ask for moods, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Do you see this starting high energy? Do you see it starting with drums? I ask them what we're looking at. If we're looking at a cityscape, that says something probably to all of us. Right. You know what I mean? So I ask them for what am I looking at and what's the idea? And so many themes already have music built in. Like I knew when they did the Space Circus, that's probably a good one.
Yeah.
That I was like, here we go. The main songs are space songs and all the transition is circus music. Like that was the easy one. It was like two different things. And I was like, I wasn't going to play that as a main tune, but I'm going to use that in there. And the judges liked that. I was like, oh yeah, you kept me interested in reminding me that they look like space, but it is a circus.
Right.
We were actually just talking about this the other night about music. For shows, for bummer shows, and I was looking up the word because I had it on the tip of my tongue, and pathos, like what are you feeling? And I feel like even though, say for the Brigades, music isn't explicitly judged, it does invoke a feeling, it does frame out your show, and obviously with string bands, it's one of the most important things, if not arguably just the most important. But how do you're saying you have like a feeling, a mood, how... I guess one question is, what's your favorite type of mood to write for?
Oh, that's hard.
Because we have a poll question for this episode that kind of ties into that. So I'm just curious as to what your actual favorite is.
I like soundtrack kind of music. I don't know if that's really a genre or a mood.
I think it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think you wouldn't think that it works well with a string band, but it does. You know what I mean? And especially, it also, as an arranger, gives you a wide range of keys and chord substitution and arrangement ideas and beautiful melodies, you know, that are fun. You know, jazz, I play jazz. That's the main thing I love to do, but I don't love to write it for string bands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't translate as well. Years ago, everybody ended with a jazz tune, right? Woodchopper's Ball or some blues or something. But kind of, if you swing now, it's not really the energy that they're looking for. So does that answer your question?
Now, do you miss the old music where it was 5 or 6 songs and you knew the song and you played the song, where now it's just...
Absolutely. Well, there's part of me that the way the judging is now, that they're not really marking for difficulty. The part of me likes it because then it's going to be melody based. You know what I mean? But I love hearing full tunes too. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I like those. I really like the years of the 80s. There was a lot of just...
my go-to.
You know what I mean? And I think I was even talking to Billy Bowen about this. It was like, there was like 27 bands.
Yeah, at one point. Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And you knew the tunes that people play. And now, for a while, well, not now, for a while, I guess the early 2000s, they were marking on execution. And to their credit, someone like Fralinger, they had a lot of great, you know, mummer players, and they would write a ton of notes. And a lot of like older folks like, I can't hear the melody, I can't hear the tune. What is the tune? You know what I mean? And the competition kind of got in the way of that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now I feel like it's getting a little bit back to that, although now that it seems like the show drives it, sometimes you have to cut off a tune where you don't want to, because we got to bring in this T-Rex, you know what I mean? Or whatever. And I have to shut the tune down.
I do think that...
So it's show driven, you know?
I do think the show driven element though has helped, I don't want to say like make the music easier, because we know that there's people that can handle playing it, but not everything needs to be crazy.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I think it being so music focused for, I think, let's face it, that 8-year run when Fralinger was winning, that's not completely gone away, but it's gone away a lot. But to that point with the judging, I mean, obviously you probably look at the criteria, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of been a debate for a long time. Do you think it's too open? Like, do you think it should be more specific? Or
like you can't quantify a lot of it. Like you can't, you know what I mean? It's like, it's, you know, music effect. You know, a lot of people, I remember Fralinger brought me in because I seem to have done well in those kind of categories.
Yeah.
And I was saying, like, last year, it didn't work perfectly, but like the band has got a radio, and we're going to change, the band is the radio, and we're going to change stations, and we're going to make the band change, like things like that make the band have human or characteristics. So that's cool, but it doesn't support what you were saying, you know what I mean?
Right.
How can it?
Right.
So for people who want to sit there and like hum along with the tune, you know, I still love writing just a street song or just a concert medley because I don't have anybody telling me, you know, first of all, I don't have a time limit.
Yeah.
And I don't have to think about some dude's got a 3-foot hat in, you know what I mean? The constraints, I can just write, you know, and it's, you know, I would love for the band to walk in with like their back piece would be chairs and just unfold them and sit and play.
Now, do they run that by you, the creative team? Do they say to you, you know, a house is going to be here or a T-Rex is going to be here?
Absolutely.
And you got to make the music go with that.
Yeah. So there's many times where, and I just keep using Jimmy Brown or right now Bobby Thiel. He's like, can you give me 8 more seconds? Can you give me 8 more counts to get that car to do or get it out of here? Can you do tempo to do here so the guys have, you know, we have to. I
never knew that.
I think that's what I like the most, is that you can tell that there's that communication.
Yeah. Well, you have to with brigades. I'm sure there's times where, I mean, whoever does your music, we need this 8 counts longer, whoever your choreographer is.
Right.
And you might not know what's going on, but it definitely like, I need to get 25 people out of here.
Yeah.
So that roar of the lion has to be 16 counts late or whatever. Yeah, has to happen. And by the way, I've played a bunch of musical stuff. That stuff happens all the time. All the time. Edits are happening in shows as they're, I mean, I just played the MJ show that was in Philly.
Yeah.
which is fun because I'm such a Michael Jackson fan. I mean, it's
Mhm.
like, how can you not like that show full of hits?
Yeah.
But we were doing tweaks as it came into Philly. Sometimes they know, oh, this stage is bigger, so we can do this. This stage, this, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Where the tempo's fast on us, so we can actually fit in that extra two. You know what I mean? So things are happening.
What's like how open to that are they? Because I know like with shows like that, it's kind of you're by the book to a certain extent. Like, can they open
For a
it up
musical?
Yeah,
Open up. What do you mean?
like tempo wise, we're gonna do this faster here. We can spread this out more.
It
Stuff
depends. Well, one thing is something choreographed to it.
like that.
Tempo's got to be agreed. Because I've also been fortunate enough to play with the Pennsylvania Ballet, which is
Oh.
unbelievable.
Mhm.
And it's, for me, the kind of musician I am, it was different for me. It was total classical piece of music. I played Prokofiev's Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, okay.
And it's a 3-hour piece of music. So you're on task all the time. So the music was originally written for music's sake, but then ballets then put these shows, their choreography to music, and the music gets, oh, we got to do this faster. Not for music's sake, but to fit the choreography.
hmm
And a lot of time, Beatrice Afrin, she's an amazing conductor. And she is like, yeah, I know you're used to playing this piece at this tempo, but we got to play it at this tempo. And we might have to cut here to go to here. So you'll see the notes from the last city.
hmm
You'll see like, oh my God, they cut 48 bars out. You know,
Wow. How many instruments do you play?
I play saxophone, flute, and clarinet. Enough keyboards to write. It's like my writing tool. I won't go out and take a keyboard gig. I play some drums, a little bit. Enough. I'm informed enough on them. You know, I'm not going to go out and take
Okay.
jobs on them, but yeah, mainly saxophone. My love is to play jazz. And then if there's a big band gig or orchestra gig that they need me to play a little bit of flute, a little bit of clarinet. So.
Yeah. What's the instrument that you feel like is for you personally the hardest for you to arrange for?
The hardest for me to arrange for, it's not necessarily an instrument, it's limited ability.
hmm
Like when I play the tenor saxophone, and don't take this the wrong way, I play the full range of the instrument.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
In mummers, if you write for the tenor saxophones above a certain
Yeah.
note,
Yep.
so tenors, if you play like, I don't know, people don't write above your G,
Yeah.
right? Everything down there is cool. So there's whole sections of the instrument that I can't. So limited ability is what is the most difficult thing. And writing split parts.
Mm.
You guys probably hate me because there's like still notes.
Yeah.
For instance, when you arrange your goes, right? Everybody should look at their single notes. And in an orchestra of equal talent across, everybody can play their notes and it'll be balanced. But when you get to string bands or anything that's a hobby and you have your strong players and maybe your weaker players, sometimes I have to give everybody everything and then say like, all right, in these 8 bars, you strong guys have to play with these weaker folks so that I get a balance.
Do you position people like the strong players or here?
They do, yeah. They know like in a string band, they'll have like the basic 3 what they call pit bands, and they will do a balance of strong and weak, but not also strong and weak, but make sure I have representative of each part. So for the saxophones, most times it's 4 and 5 part harmony. So you got to make sure that they're all represented in one suit, and then in this suit,
Gotcha.
and then in this suit. And then beyond that, if a certain part of the show, like, here's the difficult part. Let's say one suit's out here and the other 2 are behind mountains or something. You know what I mean? Scenery. You got to make it sound still full with them being...
Right. Now, do you run into the problem with the guy, use Mike, say he's really good?
I run into a lot of problems with Mike. No, I'm just kidding.
But you run into a guy who can really play the sax and you want him out,
Yeah.
but he's got 2 left feet.
Oh, that's all the time.
That's all the time.
That's all the time. And that's why there's part of me that likes the new rules, because they're only marking you for what you do, not for how hard you wrote it and how... Like, there were some things that I give Fralinger credit. I remember watching their Hillbilly theme because Quaker City was right in front of them. I was walking up with Quaker City, and I turned around and watched it, and they're playing 1,000 notes, and the saxophone players are dancing, and I'm like, I can't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to do it, but I can't. You know what I mean? But you're right.
I always wondered that.
Yeah, but if you really think about, just try and sing what some of these people play. Let alone like with brigades, at least you can just listen to it and react to it. But no, you're creating the music and doing that stuff. So right now the music can be simple and you still do really well. So it's good. It's good for the listener. It's good for the performer to be able to pull it off.
Now, most of the guys, do they memorize it or are they reading?
So we still keep the music in front of you, but
you keep the music in front of you, but you're rarely. If it's a reference point, I would say more for drill, almost than it to make sure you're actually on a specific pinpointed area.
Well, I mean, Bill, it's kind of like to a certain point, you just know your music, you kind of know your moves. Are you still counting? You might stop counting.
No, but when you're drilling, do you look? Do you look in the crowd?
You would have
in
the crowd.
It's like 4 minutes of my life that I just completely zone out. And I think I've looked in the crowd once, and that was my oops award because I was gone.
I would say
really?
that for me personally, if you have to reference, if I had to look at every note, like if I really had to read it, you wouldn't be drilling because there'd be no way you would have to rely on that music and move at the same time. Like it's like muscle memory. You start to remember, your fingers just
and memorizing is always better. Yeah. Always better. Even if you go to, like you say, classical musicians only play written music. When you go to see like a serious classical musician who's featured with an orchestra and they're standing in front, most of the time they're not reading it. So, and I remember watching this workshop. There's a great jazz singer, Kurt Elling.
He's great.
He's amazing. And I've worked with Kurt a couple times. I said, what's the first couple things you tell singers in a workshop? He said, get the mic stand, get the music stand, get it out of the way. And that's what I think about the flip card. I wish we could get out because you communicate to your audience. You can have eye contact with your audience, and they're going to feel that. Mm-hmm. And by the way, we spend how much money on these masks and beautiful makeup, and then they have the music here.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to try and say, now that the music can be a little easier, I was thinking about maybe in a couple weeks, guys, let's just try it. Take your music off. Let's see what happens.
I definitely think
it can happen.
More people that could do it off of muscle memory than they think they could.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. Maybe we'll try it in just a circle one time when we're warming up, but they're nervous about doing it. Now, Fralinger did it for a few years, and I loved it. They didn't necessarily get more points for it, but it is a better way to perform. First of all, you can see better.
Yeah.
You don't have this. And you play better. I mean, it's proven that when you're reading music, you're shutting your ears down to a certain extent.
It's funny, you said something about the thing being in front.
Yeah.
And you say it. And I always noticed that they're always theme oriented.
Yeah.
And I always wondered, why didn't they match the makeup?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, you could do that.
Like put the face of the person on the back.
Match the makeup. So when they flip it, you see the face still.
That would actually make sense.
It would make,
You know what I mean? That's a great idea. And by the way, with color schemes especially, right? I mean, these pit bands, one suit is this color, but you all have the same flip card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you might need to cut that out. We might need to. No, just kidding.
I'm selling
no, but that's super smart. But the best would be get rid of it.
Mm-hmm. That's me thinking as a brigade guy.
No, that's great.
This is more of an opinion point, but I'm just curious what your thoughts are. Mm-hmm. You play rehearsal because I've played your music for
many years
like
now.
10 years at least, right? The music director or assistant will be up there or whatever, and it does sound good, and it sounds good. Or some nights it's a slow night, whatever. You'll come into rehearsal, you get up front, and for some reason it sounds better when you're up there.
Oh, really?
I've noticed that.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's that the people get up to play it when you're there.
Yeah, I think it might be better answered by you. I don't know. Is there a certain maybe there's a respect thing? Maybe it's like this guy spent a lot of hours on it. Mm-hmm. We want to do good by him or her. You know what I mean? Like, is there a certain amount of I know this guy's worked with this person. I want to say, is there maybe a little bit of all that?
I would say it's probably a combination of all of that. Yeah.
Well, I know when they say Michael Jackson show, there's a perfect example. I'll go back to that. The director and the arranger came to Philly to see the show. And they told us, a lot of times they won't even tell you, because they just want to check up on the show. But we were already confident. I mean, I'm 53 now. I've been playing since I was 10. I don't really get nervous with that stuff anymore. Yeah. You know what I mean? I play the way I play. I've had enough people say it sounds okay. You know what I mean? So, but there is still a little extra. Let me be on my tippy toes here.
Yeah.
So maybe you think,
Yeah.
I think it's similar when our choreographer
Exactly.
is here, and then when they
I
leave
bet.
drill and we're still running drill, you could see everyone kind of deflates a little bit. Oh, I can kind of relax a little, but like you should be there to impress the person that made this and make them feel like it was worth it.
And you got to perform. You got to practice the way you're going to perform.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have to. Now I know it gets crazy because all of the brigades and string bands practice stuff way more than any professional orchestra will. You know, like we were saying, like to put together 3 hours of Romeo and Juliet, we never played the whole thing in rehearsal. There's just not enough time. It was 2.5 hour rehearsals. You know, so you put the whole thing in. So things get worked out as the show goes, but you're also relying that these people have worked a long time to be able to be good readers and good players. And you're just going to assume, oh yeah, that whole part will be okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But the good part is you guys are going to be thorough. The bad part is probably by like November. Okay, we've run it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can I really smile again? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I actually
It's hard to find that motivation.
Yep.
I'm over it.
I like when it starts to feel, I know this sounds weird.
Hmm?
I like when the music starts to feel a little boring to me, because that to me means this is not a
We're
problem.
locked in.
Like
I would say we're starting to get there with the string band, specifically South Philly. But that was the other thing when you were talking about pressure.
Yeah.
What I liked, once I had a clean slate and I knew I was writing for a band, I take pride in getting the music to a band early.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you, like, when did we
Sure.
start reading segments this year? South Philly, was May.
Yeah.
When did they come to you? Did they come to you February?
No,
March?
right away. June. Well, look, if it's assumed that I'm already working with the band, like I have a relationship with South Philly or Fralinger, they'll usually, let like a week or two kind of sit. But I'm right back in it because they might want my opinion on what's going to be submitted. And when are submissions for themes? It was in February.
Very beginning of February.
So you got to go through the whole process of collecting themes, voting on them. Everybody starts bouncing all these. Like at South Philly, they'll develop a few themes. So if you submit it and it's taken, you know what I mean?
Right.
So that takes, I don't know, a month.
So and then when you get the theme, do you jump right on it?
If sometimes like this year, and that one's not better or worse. With South Philly, if Jimmy and I are talking, I can jump on certain parts of it, but it's a little later now because it's so show driven that why would I write 64 bars of something when I know I can only use 28 bars of this? And so, yeah, I will write a segment. You know what I do is like write a couple songs, street songs that I know they'll play all day long just to get the flavor of the theme in the band's ear, and so that can be cool, and then Fralinger, like I got their outline later. That's fine. They sound great. They're going to be good. You know what I mean? And it's just timeline.
Does writing street songs, like you're saying, give the band a flavor for the theme? Does that also help you kind of get into that mindset for the theme?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I'm listening to a lot of music off hours, let's say. I think what it does help is to say, like, is this music going to work for the band? Like, if you can get a flavor of, like, oh, yeah, like we're doing an Arabian type thing. Is how's this going to sound with this band? That's probably what it helps me do most. Like, is it going to work?
Yeah, like you have a style in your arranging, but so do each of the bands individually that you write for. Like, is that at all a challenge to remember? Like, basically what I'm saying is there something that you would maybe not write for South Philly that you would write for Fralinger stylistically or any other band that you're...
Maybe, I hope South Philly doesn't take, issue with this. Maybe when I first start writing for South Philly.
Yeah.
But in the last, let's see, this will be the 10th year I've written for them. And we've done well, right? One thing I will say about South Philly is like, Quaker and Fralinger were always good, and South Philly's really grown.
Yeah, come on. Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? I'm proud of the guys and what we've created in 10 years that people are worried about them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where they were always stuck in third or fourth. The guys who were there were talented, but now they got even more and more manpower. So to answer your question, not really. if I'm writing for those three bands, I'll kind of throw anything at them. And in all three bands, I know where the same weaknesses are probably consistent.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, because I feel like South Philly is very show driven. They're really high production, really heavily show driven. I feel like their music is benefiting from it with someone like you in this position because you are good with that music to visual. You are good with those show elements. And obviously that's why subconsciously I really am drawn to the arrangements that you do. But I feel like, does that make sense that their music's improving?
And I like the challenge. A lot of musicians won't like the challenge. I like the challenge, like you were saying, what's choppy about it? But I like the challenge of, I mean, we can sit there and write something beautiful. I do enough of that in the other parts of my life. You know, I'm doing a lot of TV work and other kind of stuff where I'm recording at home and music for music's sake. But it's kind of cool to say like 36 bars of this and come up with, how am I going to make this smooth? Because like you said, there are some arrangers that have a hard time keeping your energy and your focus from this scene to this scene. And what the bands are getting good at now, and probably South Philly was the best, and now there's a lot of bands even in the transition, it's a show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, what's cool too, I don't even know if you have ever really made this connection, but since he started writing for the string bands, not that Quaker wasn't already good, but they were stuck behind Fralinger.
Yeah.
Two bands got over the hump. In his fourth year with Quaker, they won. And the first year with South Philly, they won.
Yeah.
And they were going back and forth between 3 or 4 for 10 years.
Yeah.
And then your first one, they won. So there had to be a little bit of a level of satisfaction with that. You come in, you write, you win.
I would call it, because I'm good friends with Billy Bowen. I was like, man, you guys are tough. We're going to get you one of these. You know what I mean? One of these days. But every time they won, I was like, they were great.
Yeah.
They were great. They were great. And you know what's funny is that I even said to my uncle, I call him Uncle Bill Garton. He's like an uncle to me.
Yeah.
You guys probably know Bill Garton. Like he's so it took, once he took over for Fralinger, they were in a little bit of a slump. And I think it took like almost the same amount, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, probably.
For them to kind of really get it together following his lead as far as playing. And then they went on a roll. So it was like, when we're only seriously like how long are practices really serious? Only a few months.
Yeah.
You know, right? February through June, you might get, 25 guys, no basses, or this or that, I mean, and people aren't real, they're kind of shut down musically. So it's going to take 3 or 4 years, you know what I mean? But with South Philly, I knew some of the guys there. Danny Palangio called me in August. That was a late one too. Called me in August and said, "Can you write this Latin thing, right? What Day of the Dead?"
Yeah.
So I was like, first of all, this was intriguing because I always thought South Philly was right on the edge. I was like, their music was good, but I had an idea of how I could write for them because their shows were all. I mean, Jimmy Brown, those guys were, I think they were probably, if not winning in show, close.
There was a couple times I believe that they did.
Yeah. So I was like, I think this band I can help right away. You know what I mean? And it helped. It happened. We were lucky. You know what I mean? And they worked hard. But I mean, I thought they were going to do good. But when I saw it all put together, I was like, oh my God. I'm still, oh my God, with especially South Philly. When, when we're practicing on Market Street or JFK, and everybody comes up to the band and they say, they're pretty good, but I hear this band's this. I said, there is so much that is going to go on in the judging area that you have, that these guys are prepared to do it once and kill it. It's amazing. And every band steps it up with the confetti and this, but they're just like.
South Philly bombards you for 4 minutes.
Oh, yeah. That the whole finale last year with Mike Rare wouldn't mind me saying, who's legendary. Mike Rare, he's a good friend. Mike was like, that's the best ending of a theme I've ever seen. And he called Jimmy Brown. It was
good.
It was killer. I mean, and I was just like, I didn't see that. I never saw all of it, but Jimmy Brown had it in his head. He knew all the stuff. We're going to launch this, and this is going to catch on fire. I'm like, what do you mean catch on fire? Damned if it didn't look like it did, right?
It was cool.
Yeah.
Two funny points actually about being in the practice area. The one year I remember somebody telling me, 2018. I forget who it was. One of my friends from, I think.
By the way, here's a stat.
Yeah.
I kind of only win, I think, on even numbered years, or is it odd?
All right, there you go.
Really?
Is that what it is?
I think, yeah, you're right.
What's
but-
this? 26? Oh, it should
26.
be all right.
2018. Remember, it was the cold year.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, it was. I forget who it was. I want to say it was either somebody from Avalon or somebody from South Philly. Whoever was close to Quaker,
Mhm.
and they were like, "Man, we were so worried because it was freezing, and you guys sounded like an orchestra, and it was because we were drilling to the tape. Remember, we had the speaker out.
So I can tell you a lot about that. The day before, so it was 2 degrees.
Oh yeah, it was cold.
2 degrees.
It was 68 in the convention center.
Listen, I can't wait if that could ever happen from a musical standpoint.
I'm
that way,
sure.
you're not like
Yeah.
Something that
throwing
you can
your-
have it.
So, and by the way, I'm not. It is what it is. I remember talking to people, and South Philly had rehearsed the day before, and we were out there for like. Were you in that one, Mike? What band were you in that time?
18.
Yeah,
Quaker.
you were in Quaker. Okay, so South Philly had practiced, and in half an hour, half of the band couldn't play. They're frozen. And I remember talking to a couple guys in other bands. I won't, name any names, but I said, they asked me, what do you think we should do? I said, well, it's 2 degrees. Let's say you warm your horn up 20 degrees, which is a lot. It's still frozen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're still 10 degrees away from even, and that's with no wind or anything. So I told the band, South Philly, and I think Quaker did similar, right?
Yep.
They didn't play much.
Nope.
Said, you guys are prepared. When you take your horn out of the case at 2 degrees, you're on the clock. It's going to freeze. As soon as moisture goes into it. So what I did was, I think I told every band, tune up and then don't play your instrument.
Yep.
Don't put any, because once you blow into it, then it turns into moisture. That's going to freeze. Don't blow into it. And then we'll tune up again, maybe real quick at the judge, and we got to go. And we only have one shot to do this. So we drilled with we were like a brigade. We had we had pre-recorded the music and we drilled, and that's why both Quaker and South Philly sounded good.
Yep.
But it was due to South Philly the day before. They were trying all kind of defreezing things.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2 degrees.
That's
And
Yeah,
and
I
we
never knew
we
that.
did
Yeah.
not. I can vouch for the fact that we did not deviate from that. We got there. We ran it through once with music.
You know how many people too, Mike? Listen, with all due respect, people want to do the best thing. Chris, I don't know about this idea. I don't know, man. I think we've got to play. It's like, just trust me. I said, you can fire me January 2nd, but just trust me. It's science.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. It's like 22 degrees. You ever been out in 22 degrees? Shit still freezes.
Yeah. I mean, we put our instruments on the bus. We drilled with instruments once when we first got there. We put them on the bus in the heat because you were allowed to keep the bus with you that year.
Yeah, because it
cold.
was like ridiculous.
Yeah. Then we got them off the bus because they had to leave once you went into that holding area.
Yeah.
We got up there, not a note. As soon as the band in front of us was out, we tuned up, went in, started, and everybody was pretty much good. But I'll tell you, my sax wouldn't play the halfway through the leaving song.
So there you go.
So
you
5
knew, but you got through.
Their theme, yeah.
You got through the theme,
Mhm.
but some bands were coming up. I remember one guy in Fralinger's mouthpiece actually cracked.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It cracked.
So what are you doing? At you just don't play.
Oh, you're done.
You fake
Unless you
it.
have another
Yeah, you're
mouthpiece. I
screwed.
mean, if it cracks, it's
But if your instrument freezes like halfway through, what do you do?
So-
Just fake it.
the thing is.
Yeah.
I mean, when you get it away, you got to heat it. You got to get it to a acceptable temperature. So because usually in the middle of the horn, a lot of condensation collects or down at the bottom, and it freezes. You will actually have to chip away.
Yep.
Little icicles. The thing is, you have to get it warm enough, but you also have to get the horn dry. So it's like if you get it unfrozen and it's still wet and you come back out, all that moisture is just gonna.
So I got a whole new respect now. I used to always say when it's cold and they say, "Oh, the bands aren't going to go," I'm like, just go.
Mhm.
I mean, it's cold all the time.
Yeah, it generally doesn't have
knew that.
anything to do with the person. Like
No.
with the hand, it's the instrument itself.
Yeah, it's certain instruments will you know what I mean, freeze up faster. But that's always the funny thing. There's a great saxophone repairman that I go to, and it's funny. His name is Mike Hammer. He's a repairman, but he's amazing. He always knows when he's going to work on a mummer horn because he usually pulls confetti out of the bell, right? Or he's like, "Man, why is your horn look like that?" Well, on New Year's Day it froze, and I held it under the the car exhaust to unfreeze.
Just try anything.
Yeah.
Mike's the best. That's where I go.
Oh, he's the best.
He's the best.
He's
I've
the
been going
best.
to him for a long
Yeah,
time.
he's really great.
Yeah. And the other story I had about being in the staging area, which was funny, was they actually the year after that, 2019, the Pirates, and we're Quaker.
Oh, yeah.
And we were having this phasing issue. I don't know if you remember, you wrote this like, it was a lead alto and lead tenor part. It was a trade-off with like the solo
Uh-huh.
part, right? Like
Okay.
somewhere right towards the end.
Okay.
We were having, the tenor part was having this phasing problem where every time we played it, it never had happened except for New
You
Year's
guys know
Day.
what he means by fade? Like,
No.
okay, so from one side to the other, they're not playing together. And it might be like they're a half second ahead.
Yeah.
Because of the space in between you. Maybe you're in between buildings. You don't hear it the same way. So one might be a little bit ahead. And it sounds like it goes back to when something is out of phase in recording, it has this warbly kind of effect. So that's what they call it, phasing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we were having this issue and we were trying to run it and it kept happening and they were calling you back to come over to run it with us. So you come jogging up. We ran it one time.
Must have been
swear to
important because I don't jog too much.
God, he comes running up. You could tell you were like back and forth
Yeah.
between the bands you were writing for. He comes up to us. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. You counted in. We ran it one time. No problem. He went, looks fine to me.
Yeah.
He just took off.
It's just a matter of pay attention and listen. Because sometimes you get autopilot.
Yep.
And you don't listen. And by the way, you're distracted because you got a nose this long and a hat this big. It's like, guys, get back to what got you here. Listen. Forget that you got all this shit on. Forget that you're outside. Just listen. You'll be all right.
It's weird how that crosses divisions because even in the brigades, like
sure.
you have a dress rehearsal and it's like they put the suit on. I can't remember what they're doing. How do you,
Yeah.
It's just a costume.
Well, talking to Dennis Quayle, who you had a few weeks ago, it's like
Yeah.
you learn all this choreography, right? And it's all this and then you got a big puff of feathers here. This is no more. It's now this, right?
Yeah.
At the most. Same thing with hats that might be totally.
Yeah.
You guys have headphones on now.
We always say break them. If you're going to break it, break it.
Yeah.
And break the shoulder, break the
Yeah,
hat.
do whatever you have to do. But try doing these podcasts without actually hearing sound through headphones. Just keep the headphones on. Be really goofy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
For me, I have always had a problem. Like I could play anything you put in front of me. I'll play the notes.
Yeah.
I can do that. I can read well. Never had a problem with that. Luckily, what I have a problem with is I get confident I know the music, and then you got to cover your hands or something because I can't.
Right.
I hate playing with gloves on.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, now I feel like I got to go home and wear them when I play. You know what I mean? To try to get.
Is
used
there
to
any
the
way to
feeling of-
make a glove that's literally covers the front and cut it to here just so
So,
you can get your fingertips?
I've only ever done that once, and it was we did a haunted
glue it
theme
or something?
the one
What'd you
year.
do?
You ever see them Halloween gloves where they got the plastic bones on the front?
Yes.
I cut everything but
The tip?
everything except the actual plastic. I cut the material off the back of the
Oh.
bone from like the knuckle up,
Okay.
so that my fingertips were on the keys.
That
but
worked?
but it didn't cut. Yeah, it worked because it didn't cut the actual bone part off, so that it
Interesting.
still looked like the full finger.
I guess
was
the
there.
best thing we can say is you try writing with a glove on, not feeling the pen.
Yeah.
Now, do you tell people to practice with gloves on?
No, but they should. I'm sure they check it out, like a couple days before when they finally get their gloves. Or if it's a cold drill, they have to try it.
Do bands
Yep.
still wear the gloves, the white gloves? Because we don't wear them anymore.
I get it's more like theme dependent. It used to be just like you wore it
You wear white every year.
whenever.
That
like,
remember the Dickie?
the Dickie,
The
yeah.
Dickies, the white
Big-
gloves on the
Oh
box.
my
Big knit,
God.
knit ones that came up to like your chin.
Oh my God! I remember the Summer Mummers Parade.
Yeah,
It would be like 90 degrees.
and the old school guys.
Oh yeah,
Dickie
where's
on
your
up-
Dickie? I left it home. I'm like, I'm wearing a turtleneck at Summer Mummers.
I do want to talk a little bit while we're still here about some of the cool gigs that you do, like outside of the Mummers. You just mentioned doing MJ.
Mm.
Like it was fairly recent. That was here not.
Yeah,
that
it was in
long ago.
January.
And then, what do you have anything else coming up? Cool or?
Coming up, they're actually doing. I don't know all the stuff that's involved with it, but they're going to be doing a New Year's Eve dropping of the ball here in Philly. A lot of people
Oh,
don't
that's
even
cool.
know that. So
Yeah.
they're doing like a New York version. So the music directors I work with, this guy named Adam Blackstone, who I just talked to him. He's on his way to. Well, here's a funny story, but he produces so much stuff. Like you're going to turn on Disney Plus maybe in a couple days. There was a big show with Pharrell and Andrea Bocelli in
Oh.
front of the Vatican.
That's cool.
He produced that.
Very
Wow.
cool.
You know what I mean? And they're using some of our music on that. So a lot of stuff I'll record at home and send it to him. And now we were talking because he's doing the national anthem for the first World Series game.
Oh, very
And we
cool.
were saying, oh, come on, Phils. Come on, Phils. He goes, Chris, you're coming with me. You know, I didn't have to play on that particular track, but Pharrell has a choir who's going to be singing in it. He goes, I'll put you in the tenor section, man. Just come on. Like, so I was hoping, but now it's in Toronto. But they're going to be doing a big New Year's Eve show in Philadelphia that and if Adam's involved, it's probably a high budget thing. So maybe some guest artists are coming.
That's cool.
Wow.
There's always things that come up last minute. I mean, whether it's playing a show here in town, I'm trying to think. Oh, I got some Philly Pop stuff. I sub on the Philly Pops a lot.
That's cool.
And nowadays, like we were talking AI before now with technology, like everybody's able to do a podcast. A lot of the recording I do I got enough gear I do the recording, and you might hear my saxophone playing, and it's happened on The Voice, or there was a couple Netflix shows that played on. So you never kind of know where it's going to end up, but they just say, Chris, here's the track. I'll send you the sheet music, or just play this, record it, and you send it back to them. And technology.
You did the Super Bowl, right? Didn't you?
I did the Super Bowl with Jennifer Lopez and Shakira.
That's cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so that's like a 2-month commitment. You're there in January rehearsing the hell out of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And then that might have been the first Super Bowl that it was 2 artists.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because the big thing, it's like roughly a 13-minute show.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like both shows had to be 6.5 minutes.
Phew.
And speaking of transitioning her whole dance troupe and Shakira's whole, and that is a phenomenon beyond, like, talk about setup. You think we set up a lot of stuff? They set up that whole field in 10 minutes. And they hire hundreds of workers to do it.
That's crazy.
I'd never seen a production like it's crazy.
And then from the musician's side, the rehearsal time for that is like, are you guys together to do that, or is it the same thing? They it's all separated.
Yeah. So Adam will send out what he calls a sketch, a musical sketch. So it'll be either electronic version of what we're gonna do, and sometimes I'll arrange the horns for it. Sometimes they're already there. Sometimes I'll even help Adam arrange parts of it. Then when we get on site, like that Super Bowl was in Miami. So it was nice because it was nice being in Miami in January.
Yeah, sure.
You know, so we were there for a couple weeks. As a matter of fact, we got that show together pretty quickly, and I was supposed to be there for another week. And I said, there's so many people. I'm going to fly you home for a week. Go home and come back a couple days before the Super Bowl. We had to do a couple run-throughs. J-Lo was in the Dolphins practice facility, so we had to go over to their bubble. Do it there. Shakira had to do it here, and then we went to do the show. You won't see us. If the commercial before we went on, you could see me, but that was one of the ones where the band was. It was all dancers. It was all dancers. We were back along the back ring. But I don't care.
But that's definitely whole production. Like is that like wardrobe, all that kind of stuff you got to wear? What they tell you to wear, all that kind of.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it was just these black suits, and they give you. I got everybody. Jamie Sternwell from Quaker always says, "Oh, another new pair of sneakers." I was like, for years I didn't pay for sneakers. I just come from these jobs. It's like I got new Air Jordans. I got this. I got that. But
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
so. That is neat. And you've played with. Don't correct me if I'm wrong, but did you play with Stevie Wonder or
no? My friends played with Stevie.
Oh, okay.
I have played on gigs with Stevie Wonder, but not in his band.
Got you.
As of yet, but no, there's been there was a bunch of artists. That, cool. that were.
I think
cool.
the one thing I actually saw you live with was the Philly Pops thing.
Oh, cool!
It was at Parks the one time.
Big band.
Back. Big band. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
that was cool. I think that's the first time I've actually seen you play outside of Mummers, which was really interesting.
Yeah, it was cool. We've done some hologram shows out there. Remember, like there was a Roy Orbison tour with the hologram. Oh, that was interesting.
Cool.
That where you're playing along with just the track the whole time.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
Have you ever written one of your own songs?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm co-writer. I don't want to jinx. I'm co-writer on a tune that is up for Grammy consideration this year. So Adam Blackstone put out a record called Humble Magic, and there's 5 different. So things go into a pool of music that then gets voted on to then make it Grammy nominated. So we've made it through that first thing. So they're going to vote on this tune. that then would go down to the last nominees. So that's where we're at with this tune. Now he's got like 5 different categories on this one record that we recorded. So if anybody wants to check out Adam Blackstone's Humble Magic, it's a cool,
Yeah, that's awesome.
it's a cool record. He does a lot of R&B and you know, a lot of rap artists, Young Jeezy and all this. But when he does his own records, he loves big band.
Okay.
So
That's awesome.
and we recorded right over here in Jersey. He lives in Delaware. So
Wow.
yeah,
Very
so
cool.
we'll see. I don't know if any more is going to come of it. Listen, Grammys, it's a crapshoot, and sometimes it's a popularity contest. So,
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%.
yeah.
Before we finish up, I want to talk a little bit about, because you teach as well. What's some of your favorite stuff about that, working with the new students and upcoming?
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, just like anything, there's good, bad. Some stuff is a drag, but at the end of the day, it keeps me on my toes because it's college level. And University Arts was a great school for 28 years, and now Terrell Stafford hired me at Temple, and it's another amazing school. Slightly different musical focus. Like University Arts was jazz, but more pop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Temple's a very jazz centric. You know, I mean, respecting the art form and the history of jazz in a different way, but. You know, world-class musicians there, and they produce some world-class musicians themselves. You know what I mean? So I like it that way. I can see where it's, you know, by the, you know, another 8 or 10 years, wouldn't mind riding off into the sunset, but I'm very fortunate to do it now.
What's your favorite type of class to teach?
Wow, that's interesting. Well, I teach theory, I teach ear training, I teach arranging. I still love just one-on-one lessons.
Yeah.
You know, when you get to play saxophone with a student.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to talk about some cool stuff and bring real gig experience to, like, oh, let me tell you what I was doing this weekend with so-and-so, and saying, like, here's what you need to be able to do. And, you know, nowadays. So,
What do you think? But last thing before we finish up.
Yeah.
If you're working with a student, even something you remind yourself of as a player, a lot of people get hung up on gear or equipment or whatever. What's the most important element as a player in your
well, your sound. I think your sound is, you know, I mean, you have elements, like if you break down the elements of music, there's time, melody, harmony, right? But just like it's the sound of your voice is the first thing if you don't have a good sound, I always tell somebody what the difference between Shakespeare being recited by James Earl Jones or Pee Wee Herman. You know what I mean? The sound is everything, right? So that, and the gear thing, I don't know. Gear is a shape that you put meaning he's talking about the mouthpiece, the saxophone. Gear is a shape that your air goes through. Mm-hmm. But the first shape it ever goes through is your body. Your throat, your this and this. So a lot of times, especially with mummers, in my opinion, they're trying to fix stuff with gear that you're going to chase the rest of your life because you don't do this first.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, so everybody's trying to play these huge mouthpieces with these big tip openings and this reed. I'm like, man, you're really working so hard. You know what I mean? It's like it's like maybe you should start with the motorcycle that only goes 35 miles an hour. You know what I mean?
Just out of curiosity, it may vary depending on your gig and stuff like that, but generally, what reed strength do you play on?
3.5.
3.
Mm-hmm. I mean, for most,
or synthetic, or
always cane.
Yeah,
I don't like the synthetic. You can tell right away. To me, it's got a buzziness to it.
A little bit, yeah, it does.
Yeah, and it has to respond in a certain way that you can get away with in mummers. You know what I mean? You can get away with a certain dynamic level, but a lot of the stuff I'm on, it's like one person on a part. It's not 7 on a part. So you really have to have that stuff. But it's always been cane. I haven't found one that is not plays well enough for me. Mm-hmm. But that's not a personal thing.
I go back and forth. Like I'll try one for a while and I'll like it, and then.
But if you're only going to play the saxophone once or twice a week, I get why you're going to do something that's not wood. Wood warps. You know, you're talking about cane reeds. It's actually bamboo, and you know, like if anybody's got a wood deck, you know, after it's built, it's going to start warping.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So if you're not going to keep up on your reeds and keep them flat, like. It's very much like the care of a cigar. You got to keep it humidified. You got to keep it. If you're not going to do any of that, I understand, because you can pull that cane reed out in 6 months and it's going to play the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Well, we could talk all night. I'm sure.
I know,
but,
really. Yeah, I know this was easy.
But I'll let you go. It was absolutely awesome
Oh,
having you down.
thanks, guys.
Yeah.
This
It
was
was
cool.
a really good time.
Very educational.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
Billy's going to take up the
That's cool.
sax now.
Well, good luck
Yeah.
New Year's. I look forward to seeing
Yeah,
everybody.
good luck to
Yeah.
you as well.
Yeah.
We
Going
should
for-
look familiar to you
Why?
doing your theme.
Okay. That's right. What was the theme? What's your theme this year?
Monsters Unchained, I think.
Oh, that's cool. How about Downtowners?
Jungle, Mysterious Island.
Cool.
And Chris could potentially be going for a back-to-back-to-back. So we'll
Really?
see. We'll see.
That could be
It could be.
interesting. I don't keep up on it, man. I told you. I mean, yeah. Now that you say that, that's easy to remember. But when you were
Yeah.
asking me about themes, like I said, it's
Yeah.
like 47 or 48 now. I don't know. But Ray Malik, I'll never catch him.
Yeah,
Like
you
a-
got a lot, right?
100. It's about 100.
Whew.
Yeah.
I didn't even remember it was that many. God bless them.
Yeah.
Well, as always, like, subscribe, follow, and watch. Answer the polls. And, thanks for coming out.
My
And
pleasure.
It was a
Thanks
great
for
time.
having me.
All
Yep.
right.
Thank you.
I'm Mike Jacobs.
Billy Oakham.
Haley Hearn.
See you next time.
Hosted by Billy Yoakum, Haley Heron, and Mike Jacobs. Produced by Haley Heron and Mike Jacobs. Producer Brian Donnelly. Thank you to Cheyenne McLean.